Well, good evening and welcome, especially to those of you that are joining us live and for those of you that may watch this recording at a later date. Appreciate you being here and your attention and your interest in this project. My name is Michael Gault. I'm an eminent domain attorney with Bell Carrington, Price and Gregg. And in my role at Bell Carrington, I focus on representing landowners in eminent domain matters like this one across the Southeast. We have a team of lawyers and staff dedicated to helping our clients through projects like this. And so we're here with you this evening just to talk a little bit about the Cajah Mountain Road Improvements Project, to present some brief info on what the project's going to look like, how new right-of-way will be acquired by the DOT in this case, and what that may look like to you as landowners who are potentially impacted by this project. If you're here, clearly you've received our mailer and our notification about this project. I've met with a number of clients over the past year and a half to talk with them about this project. And so most of you know that it's coming. In fact, many of you may have already been contacted. We know that this project involves about 3.5 miles of Cajah Mountain Road. The project is it's in depth. There are multiple sections that are impacted, and depending on where you are along each independent section of the road, depends on what your particular impact may look like. There's some widening. There are some intersection improvements. There are sidewalks going in, medians and turning lanes that are being widened. And so those impacts can vary drastically depending on which portion of this 3.5 mile stretch that your property may be located in. But the main idea here is that there's nearly $9.3 million set aside for right-of-way acquisition. What does that mean? Well, in order to be able to do this road project, the government will need to be able to acquire new right-of-way. That is new dirt, new land that is currently privately owned. And in order to do that, the government will use what's known as eminent domain. Eminent domain is a legal theory that just basically means that a governmental entity, in this case the DOT, can use their power to take private property for a public purpose. And so although they're going to attempt to try to make you an offer and attempt to try to negotiate with you, at the end of the day, they do have the right to take property under that legal theory. That is the government's right. Fortunately, you as landowners that are impacted, you also have rights. And that's really the reason that we're here. That's the reason that we have an interest in this case. And that's to let landowners know that you have rights in eminent domain matters like this. And among the most important of those is the right to just compensation. And that essentially means that although the government can take property from you, they have to compensate you fairly and adequately for what they're taking from you. The problem is the calculation or the determination of what just compensation truly is never cut and dry. It's never night and day. And there's really just no formula that you can look at to plug numbers in to tell you what that damage or the impact to your property may be worth. Our focus and our expertise and specialization comes in looking at your property, analyzing the impact to it, helping walk you through what we think that damage may look like, not only to your property now, but also into the future, and then being able to negotiate on your behalf with the department to make sure that you're in the best place possible. We note that right-of-way acquisition, which is the phase of the department collecting or acquiring this private property, was slated to begin in late summer or early fall of 2024. Those timelines can always vary by a few months, depending on where you are along the project footprint. Some of you may have already been contacted. Some of you may be contacted in the next month or so. But when you do, that experience can be overwhelming. If you've never had to deal with eminent domain or some similar project before, then the language, the process, the procedure, the people involved, it can all be overwhelming. It can be just frustrating and confusing to think that you're going to lose property. You don't know what comes next. And because of that, sometimes you're at a disadvantage. Fortunately, the folks on our team do this every day. We represent landowners in eminent domain cases every day. And so we know the process, we know the procedure, we know the language, we know the terms, we know in many cases the players involved. And so it's our job and our challenge to be able to take a landowner and to guide them through every step of the process, from the appraisal and the initial offer all the way through the negotiations and potentially even the litigation, and maybe even a trial at the end of the day. In some cases, those are all remedies that you have as a landowner to be able to work with the DOT to ultimately make sure that you truly receive just compensation in a project like this. Uh, Oftentimes, when we have these town halls, we have follow-ups from the landowners later asking about attorney's fees. There's I want to address that early in this process and to say that we don't charge traditional attorney's fees on cases like this at Bell Carrington. With our eminent domain work at our firm, we charge contingency fees, and that essentially means that the attorney's fee is a percentage of the amount of just compensation that is received on behalf of the landowner. Now, that fee structure varies depending on the type of property that we're working with and the impact that we're dealing with. It's hard to address all of the possible fee structures in a public forum like this, but we would invite you to reach out to us for a free, no cost, no obligation consultation where we can look at your property, your impact, and explain how those fees might work. The point to take away is that we would never ask for any upfront money. There's never any out-of-pocket money owed from our clients in eminent domain cases like this. We don't charge hourly rates. And ultimately, if we're not successful in increasing the amount of just compensation offered to you by the government, then you as the landowner are under no obligation for any attorney's fee. And so it's beneficial for most of our clients, if not all of our clients, to give us a call, to let us look at our proprietary software. We can pull it up in real time to see if your property is impacted, to see what we think the impact may look like, how extensive is it, how impactful is it. We know that there are a number of residential relocations on this project, meaning that some of you may unfortunately lose your entire property if it's residential. There are some commercial impacts. There are some light industrial impacts. And so your particular impact is very property specific. But we can look at that quickly. While you give us a call, somebody on our team will be happy to pull up an aerial picture of your property with an overlay of the impacts of the project, so we can have that conversation on a one-on-one level for us to tell you what we think your impact may be, how we may be able to help you, and further explain how that contingency fee structure might work. So, that's it in a nutshell. This is a major project. We're dealing with over $9 million in a right-of-way acquisition budget. We know that there are lots of impacted landowners, ranging from small, what we would call strip takes along the frontage of your property, to total takes, people losing their entire property and having to relocate, and obviously various impacts in between. We are eminent domain focused in our practice group. It's all that we do is representing landowners in cases like this. And so we would welcome the opportunity to have you reach out to our team. You can reach us at bellcarrington.com/eminent domain. My name is Michael Gault, and as the practice group leader, I'm happy to speak with you. Or we have a number of lawyers and staff that are standing by to help walk you through that initial consultation, to provide whatever sort of initial advice that we can and direction regarding the beginning of this acquisition process. And ultimately, we hope to establish a relationship with you that would allow us to represent you throughout the pendency of this case, to make sure that just compensation is realized. That's our goal. We very rarely can stop projects like this, and especially when they're road improvement projects, we almost can never stop an impact, but we can make sure that you're compensated fairly and adequately for it. That's our goal, and that's what I would hope to do. So I appreciate you joining us here this evening. Michael Gault with Bell Carrington, bellcarrington.com/eminent domain. There are a number of ways to contact us there. You can schedule an appointment through our website. You can find our direct lines or email addresses to reach out this evening. We're standing by and ready to speak with you. So thank you for joining us, and hope to speak with many of you soon. Thanks.